All right, Angela, are you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Thank you so much for being on the show. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to be here.
So, obviously, so many people know you from the sitcom Step by Step, which I must say they have one of the greatest theme songs of all time. It is very
Oh,
catchy. I've watched the show as a kid. And, people cannot believe I'm interviewing Angela Watson. Like, yes, I am. Yes, I am. So, while 2020 has been up and down for everybody, myself included, this is an up. This is an increase.
Aw,
So,
thank
uh,
you.
thank you, the Jill, TJ, Nashville Entertainment Weekly. Y'all are the best,
Yes.
hands down. So we'll definitely get to some music, but I want to ask at least a couple questions of your experience on Step by Step.
Absolutely.
Uh, Given that the show was back in the 90s, that was a great decade for sitcom television. From your time being there and the cast and everything, what was it like just being on that show and
Mhm.
just see and hear people still talk about it after all these years?
Oh, yeah. It's so wonderful. Well, you can imagine that if you were a 14-year-old and you had just kind of moved out to Hollywood the year or two before, and I'd been doing commercials and I had this other series that I was working on, but there was this new pilot episode that my agent told us about, and they said that Patrick Duffy from Dallas would be playing my dad and Suzanne Summers would be playing my mother. And so imagine that you're like this 14-year-old and someone tells you that and you're like, "What?" Like your mind is blown that that's like who I would be working opposite. And so once we got over that, like pinching ourselves, my mom and I, like, I can't believe this is who I get to perform with and have fun. Just basically being on the set was just a great fun with, all the kids. Brandon Call, who played JT, he was just always giving us a hard time. I actually did an IBM commercial playing Brandon's sister the summer before we got Step by Step. So I knew him, and I kind of had a crush on him too, to admit it. And so then to know that we were going to be on the show together was way fun. Then to meet Stacy and Christine, we became like a trio of, the Charlie's Angels of the Step by Step show. So it was a wonderful experience. And Suzanne Summers, from the beginning, stated, like, she said, "I want this to go 7 years." She just put it out there. Like, that was her plan. And she wanted the network to make that happen. And they did. So it was wonderful. And I'm just so glad that people still love it, and that the people who were kids watching it now have their own families and they love to turn on Hulu or catch the reruns, and so their kids can enjoy just good, innocent, fun entertainment and not have to worry about what they're watching, and I think to get a good story, a good moral story at the end of the show.
I must say, to the younger generation, I wish that they had a Step by Step or, Family
Yes.
Manners or Boy Meets World, shows like that of this generation just to get that feel what people like us felt in the 90s. Just
Right.
seeing that chemistry, and y'all came into the show as castmates and y'all walked out of it as family.
Oh,
And
yes.
y'all still keep in touch each other after all these years. So at least for the most part, every now and then, hey, how's it going? How's the family? How the kids? Things like
Right.
that. And I love shows when you got these casts getting together, strangers, and getting to feel familiar with each other, and it turns out pretty good. So yeah, you still can watch step by step. You know, reruns on the TV, reruns on
Mm-hmm.
Hulu and other sites. So and I got one more question for you, and we'll get to the music. What do you consider favorite episode or favorite scene, favorite moment from the
Mm.
time that you was on there?
Right. I really enjoyed when Suzanne Summers and I and Karen, my character, were in a mother and daughter beauty pageant. I think it was probably the second season, 1992.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to perform in the talent contest doing a tap dance. And then we sang Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy. And probably learning that tap dance with Suzanne and the great choreographer who taught that to us, and then being able to perform that was really one of the coolest things I can imagine.
I love tap dance. Anytime you get
Oh,
tap dancing in there, I'm gonna watch it.
hey, yeah.
And
Cool.
that takes a lot of work. That takes a lot of sweat and
Yeah.
just a feel. It's a feel type of dance. It ain't just you listen to a song and you just dancing with your friends and your loved ones. That's no music, just you, your feet, make it work, make it happen. And
Right.
it's that was quite an episode. I definitely enjoyed that.
Mm.
So we go from the acting to the singing. When Jill told me that you was part of Nashville Entertainment Weekly, I was like, "You really got her on that?" And she was like, "Yes, I do." And I want you to interview her. I said, "Okay,
Yeah.
say no more. You've been cool with me
Uh-huh.
throughout 2020. She's easy to network with, and here we are." So before we get to the Nashville Entertainment Weekly stuff, you go from acting to music. Well, what got you into doing music?
Right. Well, when I was about 10 years old, my family moved from Illinois to Florida. And in Illinois, my mother, had entered me into dancing, tap dance. And then we moved to Florida, and my mother entered me into a beauty pageant. And I won the pageant, and I started going pretty much every weekend, or it seemed like once a month at least. And I was doing very well in the pageants, all the different categories. They have swimsuit, modeling, different categories, except the talent competition. A dancer could never win talent over a singer. And I said, I'm going to win the talent and I'm going to be a singer. And that was about 12 years old at the time. And so I went into my room and I thought I was going to sing Patsy Cline Crazy or Sweet Dreams. I had one of those little cassettes.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard a song called Walking After Midnight, which of course was much easier to sing than those big ballads. And so I practiced that one, and I came out and I said, I'm going to sing this song. And I did, and I won. So that really kicked it off. And being from Illinois, my grandmother, Clara, she and her brothers and sisters had a country band, and they basically taught themselves how to play music and sing. And so I was heavily influenced by her. I loved the country music. I grew up listening to Dolly Parton and Loretta Lynn on my 8-track in the motorhome. And so I always loved that. And then, so that was always with me. Then when we moved to California and the acting came along, the writers of the show, they knew that I sang and really wanted to be a country singer back then. I loved Wynonna Judd. And they wrote that into to Karen's episodes. They knew that I had been in the pageant, so they wrote that into the episode. So that was really neat that they took our talents and then expanded them into our characters.
I must say, you do have a lovely singing voice.
Oh, thank you.
Got the sound of it. Got the voice of an angel, pretty much. So you are part of Nashville Entertainment Weekly with Jill. So how did that came about? You reach out to them, they reach out to you. Like, How did y'all
Right.
two link
It's a
up?
wild, I know. This is a wild story. Now, back in '94, I had a manager who actually took me to Nashville, and I recorded a couple of songs there. They were never released on a record label or anything, but now recently, I decided I wanted to be closer to my family back in Florida, and I brought my fiance from California with me, who's now my husband, but we were at the optometrist so my fiance could get contacts. And down in Florida, the optometrist, a wonderful guy named J. Michael Witherington, he tells us he's a songwriter from Oklahoma. And he has many songs he wanted me to sing, even though he had never heard me sing. I don't think he had even seen me on television. And he said the first song was called We Love Santa Claus that he has written. And of course we look at each other and think, yeah, okay, whatever, this guy, optometrist from Florida. And the next thing you know, he calls me up and he says, yes, I have a real studio in the next town over. And we went into the studio, professional. It was an amazing experience. A great, great guy, Julian Sunby at the Fort Studios, and recorded We Love Santa Claus. So it's just kind of, that's the way it goes. I wasn't out there pursuing it or anything. And then Julian knew Jill and Nashville Entertainment, and they wanted to promote the song. So here I am talking to you. It's been a fun ride.
I'm glad that did. And just We Love Santa Claus is available on all digital music platforms. And go. We're in September. We are nowhere near the holidays yet. But with so much going on in this world, we all need some uplifting. So if listening to Christmas music in September will help you do that, more power to you. So you got that song out. So are you going to be releasing more music in the coming weeks and months?
Yes, eventually we will. And I just want to say also, if your listeners want to go to AngelaWatsonSings.com, then they can see the music video also for We Love Santa Claus, and to get my Facebook links and all of that good stuff. I did go down to Miami to a world famous studio called Criteria Studios, where a lot of artists have recorded, and we did record another song. Pretty much, if the optometrist, he says, I will have this song, and it's a good song. He really writes really beautiful. He paints like pictures that you don't hear about in a lot of songs today, really beautiful images. And so that's all I'll say about what's to come. But it's a fun song, and I think everyone will enjoy it. Definitely not Christmas. So you'll just have to stay tuned and keep listening.
Go check out the website, AngelaWatsonSings.com, for more info. And Angela, it's great chatting with you. It is an honor to have you on the show. And thank you for everything you've done throughout the years. And now that I'm familiar with your music, I look forward to hearing more from you musically. And when the holidays get here, I got a song to play because of you.
Yes. So, that's great.
I'll definitely play that.
It's been wonderful talking to you. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you as well. Enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend.
Okay, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Thanks.